Disorganised Diatribes 5. Here we go. Spin, spin, spin. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like that intro. I might edit that out.
So I'm editing and I've decided I'm going to keep it in. Look at this nerdy thing. This clip won't be included, but it will.
But anyway, what's up, Melonheads? Cameron Redacted here, and there's someone at my door. Right, let me move the camera. Hello, I'm you, but from the future. Wait, really? Wow, I remember this room. That's what it used to look like before it blew up. Oh, that's so cool. What happens in the future? Do I become a millionaire? Do humans colonize Mars? No, in the future, literally nothing changes, except that we wear glasses now. Well, the future sounds like bullshit. Hello, Cameron Redacted here, and welcome back to Disorganised Diatribes, the show that is slowly becoming less about the rants and more about just random stupid skits. How long will it be until this show descends into madness? Type how many episodes you think it'll take in the comments below. Also, when I set out to create this terrible show, I aim to cover 3 short topics per episode. But looking at this graphic that I hopefully remember to create in editing, you can see that hasn't really happened. But today, I am going to cover 3 topics. So, allow me to introduce the first topic. Flexors.
No! Don't introduce the first topic! I haven't even introduced myself yet, and...
So, a flexor is essentially a type of content creator whose content revolves around 3 things.
Their physical build.
Oh yeah, look at my rock solid muscles. I mean, I've just got such a solid 6-pack, listen to this.
The amount of women they get.
Yo, not to brag, but I texted 7 whole women today.
And finally, their expensive belongings.
Oh yeah, look at all the ice I've got. Oh no, it's melting.
But anyway, they're a relatively new phenomenon. I mean, probably they've come around in the last 5 years or so. But I don't see the appeal.
But in this diatribe, I'm not going to be talking about Jake Paul or Rice Gum. No, I'm going to be talking about William Shakespeare. A real flexor. Well, not William Shakespeare specifically, but writers. So, I'm actually a big fan of reading because, as the famous saying goes, reading is just staring at a piece of dead tree and hallucinating. And I couldn't have put it better myself. So, the other day I was reading this book, Ken Suke's Kingdom. Very good book, highly recommend. It's by Michael Morpurgo. And I looked on the back, and I don't know if you can see it, but it says, Michael Morpurgo, the master storyteller. Like, what the heck? He's the one who wrote the book. You can't call yourself the master storyteller. It's like if I titled this video, Disorganised Diatribes 5, by Kamikaze, the master filmmaker. Like, I'd get it if it was a name given to you by, like, other writers. But this is your own book. You can't call yourself the master storyteller in your own book. Like, is Michael sat there writing the book like, and they all lived happily ever after, the end. Signed by me, the master storyteller. Because, geez, what a flex that is. Or, the other option is that it was put in by the publishing company, and that seems more likely. But I'm sure the writer sees the book before it's published, you know, just to check that he likes what they've done with it. He's definitely seen that and gone, oh, you've called me the master storyteller, I like it. I mean, what a flex, but anyway, on to the next book. Mortal Engines. It says on the front, soon to be a major motion picture. You know, it sounds a little bit, you wouldn't put that on your own book. And then on the back it says, Mortal Engines is the first book in the award-winning Mortal Engines quartet. The thing is, we don't have any proof that the writer didn't put that. I mean, he wrote the rest of the blurb. So where's the proof he didn't write this bit?
Next topic.
So, let me set the scene. The Transformers movie. The very first one, released in 1986, The film that spawned thousands of toys, dozens of series, 7 films, a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Let me emphasize that again. Multi-billion-dollar emphasis. I've never messed up a line that bad in my life. What?
Multi-billion-dollar emphasis.
The film that spawned the multi-billion franchise dollars toy franchise film. I think I've emphasised that enough. So, I'm a big fan of the film. I mean, for the 80s, the graphics were pretty good. What? What am I even saying anymore? I don't know anything about what graphics in 80s films are typically like. I don't know anything about that. They were probably awful for the decade. Listen, the graphics weren't too bad. It was made in the 80s. I enjoyed the film. I'm losing it. I need to stop making these. I need to stop making diatribes. Oh, it's getting to me. Anyway, I'm a big fan of the film. I'm a big fan of the franchise. You know, I had a lot of the toys. I've got like a huge basket full of hundreds of Transformers downstairs in my house.
Wait, I'm in my house now.
What's wrong with me? I don't know what's going on today.
Anyway.
I'm a big fan of the film. I'm a big fan of the franchise. I've got a lot of Transformers toys. But there's one scene in the film that I'm not a very big fan of. So, there's this one scene. I think it's the bit where some of the Autobots are stranded on like this random junk planet that just seems to be like covered in mud and these weird, I think they're called Junkatrons.
Have a nice day, and please close cover before striking, friends.
And these Junkatrons, they seem to have something wrong in their head, a bit like me today filming this, because most of the stuff they say doesn't make sense.
TV! We talk TV!
But anyway, I think this is when the Autobots have their first encounter with the Junkatrons and they don't know how to greet them. And then they turn to the universal greeting. But the problem is, the universal greeting is so stupid.
We talk TV!
I've not seen the scene in a long time. Maybe it's not as bad as I think. It will be as bad as I think. Spoiler alert. So, let's react to the scene. I'm such a big fan of the transform sign.
Don't act hostile. I'll use the universal greeting.
Universal greeting?
So, the Autobot in the green, he's called Cup, and he's basically like the Boomer Transformer. So, a load of robots have just mysteriously come out of the water, and they've no idea whether they're hostiles or not. So, Cup turns to the universal greeting.
Watch, I'll have him eating out of my hand.
Okay, Boomer.
Ba weep grana weep ninny bong.
Ba weep grana weep ninny bong?
See, the universal greeting works every time.
It's such a stupid universal greeting. I mean, what is it? Gra weep ba da weep ninny bong. I'm sorry, but if a group of aliens just appeared on my planet carrying guns and they go gra weep ba da weep ninny bong, I wouldn't feel greeted. I wouldn't want to welcome them onto my planet. I'd want to punch them in the face. And Cup, the Boomer, he's so smug about it. He's like, works every time.
The universal greeting works every time.
You know, Cup's the kind of smug guy to write a book and on the back of it put another book from the master storyteller, Cup. And now, on to the last diatribe. A bit of a smaller one now. So, in the last Disorganised diatribe, I established the field. So, now it's time for the field to get some plot development here in the Kamikaze universe. So, me and Joel were on the field, and for the first time ever, we'd never done this before. It wasn't the type of thing we'd do. I mean, most of the time we'd probably just like recite scenes from the Transformers movie and talk about how stupid Cup is.
I'll use the universal greeting.
But today, we decided to do the game where you close your eyes and the other person guides you. But I was a little bit reluctant to the game. You see, it's up to you guys what you think, whether you think this attitude is a good one to have or not.
But I didn't trust Joel.
The idea of me closing my eyes and him guiding me around the field terrified me. So Joel went first. He closed his eyes. I guided him around. He was very reluctant to run, even when he had like acres of space. So I'd be like, run, 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 it's all good, it's all good. But anyway, we did it for a few minutes, all was well, and now it was my turn. So I closed my eyes and Joel started guiding me around in whatever direction he felt like. And at first I was very nervous, but then my confidence sort of grew. And then he started saying, run, run, run. And I was quite confident at this point. And I was thinking back to when I was guiding Joel, and when I was saying run, he had absolutely miles of space. And he just wouldn't run. So I was like, I'm not going to be like that. I'm sure I have loads of space. I started running. Joel makes me run into this random 5-year-old. I mean, come on, Joel. But the worst part about the whole thing is that after he just made me charge into this kid, he then runs to the kid to see if they're alright. I mean, I suppose it makes sense. But like, Joel's like just made me run into someone. Like, you could at least check, at least apologise. But anyway, that should do it for today's diatribe. Thanks for watching. And for once, I don't actually have an outro joke, so I hope I can edit one in.
No, I cannot. I cannot edit one in. Anyway, they're a relatively new phenomenon. I mean, I think they were created by animatronic Joel to sell money.